Is I would rather say a little extension of, I would say rather the extension, I would say is the basis of what Kunal was explaining as a cloud. We all are here, we are experiencing, or we implemented, or we executed, or we be part of some cloud, some applications of cloud, but we still have some amount of hesitation, confusion, whether Oracle can go to cloud, Oracle database can go to cloud. In our recent, we had a partner training session from Oracle, where we attended Oracle 12c Cloud. And what I seen as part of the training is today Oracle database is no more a traditional database which has who are in IT, who are probably interested in on keyboard, who has done some database work either now or in the past. It's always been a scenario that one application, one database, one application server. Application guy comes in, says, this is the application for business. I need 4 cores on database, and I need a dedicated system because application person do not want to take a risk of single server, multiple databases, not having enough compute power, and some other application choking the compute resources, and this application getting into a problem. So there is a perennial problem we all are facing here, whether we say yes or no, right? So what then? The scenario was, then we came, there's a scenario that okay, I may not share the database platform, but I can share infrastructure platform. So when I say infrastructure platform is, I see a virtualization. I say I have a bigger machine, and I create a smaller machines, and I start using that small machine for small application, bigger machine for bigger application, and that's the way we found some solution out of it, saying that okay, I can still use one machine. But then there's a next challenge of how do I ensure the licensing? This is a question with everybody, right? If I use a product other than Oracle, I have a fear that whether I'm compliant with Oracle licenses or not. Am I right? Is my worry right? Okay, so then Oracle also given a solution to it, saying that okay, if you're using Solaris, use my add-ons. If you're using Intel-based platform, please use Oracle VM, which can recognize your cores and your CPUs for whatever licenses you pay. Is that right? But it has always been a challenge because then I have multiple VMware infrastructure, or I would say virtualization infrastructure. For Oracle, I will use OVM. For other applications, I will use VMware, and then I am getting into different complications. So Oracle has launched a 12c. C is cloud. So with everybody driving cloud on their own area, Oracle also has taken, I would say, mile jump on what database infrastructure. Because you will see the other RDBMS where not classically compliant or not classically giving you that flavor of cloud. So Oracle has launched this 12c, which is called cloud. Now when they launched, you will see a 200 plus features of Oracle 12c. and we lost what to use, what not to use, whether this is right, whether this is wrong, whether I should go, whether I should not go. So, and the typical scenario is, okay, I have 10G, I have 11G, and I will upgrade, UPG upgrade. And I upgrade that and I move to 12C. You are not taking any advantage of this. Let me say this. Because Oracle 12C is not thought from that particular aspect. So what Oracle has thought when they launched 12C? You will see this traditional approach of consolidation. And this is all where we were trying to have some other problem. In first, that's what we have discussed. This, you always have a problem of one DB eating up other DB's compute power. And this is most critical or complicated project if I have to get in. I have multiple databases, I'm getting into one, creating as a one schema, and that takes very long time to really justify why I'm doing that. But this is what exactly a business problem I would call it. It's obviously an IT problem, it's obviously a technology problem, but this has been, I would not call it 100% solved, but this has been solved by this particular scenario. If we are today, tomorrow, 3 months, 6 months, we will wait for our Oracle 12C release 2, whatever it is. But at some point of time, we are going to go for 12C because your previous versions are going to go end of life and you are going to 12C. Now when you are going to 12C, a very basic approach, this database, I install Oracle software, 12C software on this, I get the backup and I upgrade and 12C. But that I would rather say it is not, absolutely not the right approach. Why? Because when you're implementing 12C, this is the most important task which we have to look at is whether I can consolidate now. Because the most important, or I would say rather than, as I said, in EBS signature feature, which is pluggable database, which they have introduced and which has solved the database. I would not rather say purely a business problem, but definitely IT problem. So what this architecture is? They call this architecture as multi-tenant application, multi-tenant architecture. So you are running Oracle EBS, maybe a prime business application in your IT, but I'm sure you are running other peripheral applications also, or maybe a core business application also on Oracle, which is on various versions, maybe a 10G, 11G, whatever it is, and we are spending money on maintaining it in a different servers and or in a single server in a virtualization, but still not able to justify why I require a 4 CPU for this application, where that load of will reach to that 4 CPU or reach to the 90% utilization of that server only on your end. So I'm paying 4 core CPU license for those last 15 days in a year, where I need to ensure that I have enough capacity. And rest of the year, my utilization is 25%, 30%, 50% max. So if I say 50%, I'm using only 2 cores. But I'm paying for 4 cores. Simple. So it's a math. So what Oracle has tried and is successful to the large extent is, they're saying use the pluggable database. So what is pluggable database? is a DB where you can cater a specific load or specific application. So what is the basis of that pluggable database? So Oracle came up with a feature called, or maybe a paradigm shift in the database engine, they call it as container DB and a pluggable DB. So container DB is what? Is a master database. You can relate with other master database. And your pluggable databases are, I can relate with the schema in a database. So ultimately one schema which serves our application, if I'm not wrong. So they have removed that additional for each database sysops, system table space, temp table space, undo table space for each database. Then you are adding a storage for it. All those things which were little complicated from the maintenance perspective. Being today we manage this for last 10 years, 12 years. We say no, there's nothing great. We can manage. But if you see this, you will see there's a lot of administrative overhead which we are trying to eliminate by putting this. What is that? Very specific workloads. So if you see, we were having all these applications like this as a traditional. What it shows that I've got one container DB, big system, and I created one container DB, and then I converted them into a pluggable DB, and I installed or created those DB on that same container DB. You also have then my next question, your next question will be, then whatever you said as first, that I can still manage the compute power, where it is? Yes, it is. So I can create a set of databases and I can set the priorities for it, and I create the resource pool for it. So if I say I have 10 databases where I have 3 databases which are very, very important, and I need a computing power every now and then, so I create a priority for it and I assign a resource group. So if you people who are here who know a database, you will find that in Level G also there is called as a resource group or a resource management, which is, I would say, 3 steps ahead if you see this, because you are giving a compute power which is CPU and a memory for that particular resource group. Or that particular group. That group could be a set of databases or could be a single database. So if I have 10 cores and 20 GB RAM, for example, and I have 5 databases on it or 10 databases on it, I can club and I can say for this group, keep 5 cores or 10 GB. So that particular resource group will have that compute power which has been given, and that if I monitor it and I say, okay, I don't need 5 cores, let me give 4 cores, I can do it on the fly. I can give that resource to somebody else. So this is what has been done. This is the most important thing for everybody, backups. And this has always been a task for anybody, whether it's a DBA, it's not a DBA, it's an IT guy who's doing on a keyboard, is the IT manager who's always in his mind that, okay, backups. If I have to take a backup of all my 10 databases which are peripheral applications, I have to take 10 different database backups. If I do this, there's only one backup. I am taking only one backup at the system level. But while restoring, I can still restore one single pluggable DB, which I would say is the revolution. Because otherwise, if I have to take a backup as a process, I have to take 10 different backups. I'm going to schedule it. I'm going to monitor 10 backups, and then for a restore, I have to go find out this database, and then I will go and restore and do all that procedure. I can still do at a single pluggable database. Next challenge is patch. I have 11.2.0.1. I'm applying 10.2.0.2, or I'm standardizing the database versions as I should have 11.2.0.2 or I should have 11.2.0.3. Now I created a project. I have 10 databases, and each database has to go upgrade process, testing, UATs, and everything. And then for one database, I would take lesser a time of maybe a week to a maximum time of a month or 2 months. It can vary based on how testing mechanisms everybody follows. But pluggable database has one upgrade, because that upgrade happens at the container DB, and your pluggable DB gets upgraded. You don't have to worry about the upgrade of pluggable database. Your one database upgrade, everything is done. Your pluggable database is also on that particular version. This is one of the which Chetan will also explain a little on this. But these are all things which I can do it. I have container database on one server. I can take a snapshot and I move that into another container database very easily, which was, if you see in a traditional database, take entire backup, come here, again install everything, move the database, do a recovery process, and then take this out. This can happen at a snapshot level because you have a pluggable database snapshots as a feature. Most important. For a DR, today for 10 databases, I have 10 DRs, right? Somebody standby, somebody hot, somebody data guard, somebody async DRs, sync DR, whatever complications you have. But in this, you have only one database to do a standby, and the rest everything will be taken care. So what we are trying to achieve out of it? Ultimately, it has to transform into some business value, right? Because we all can talk about this technical, this is feature, this is fantastic feature, this can be used, that can be used, but ultimately it has to convert into some business value. So if I say business value is obviously these 4 parameters it stands on. I would rather debate, or we all can debate on data center and storage costs, but these 2 costs are definitely we can optimize with implementing Twills. Now, what is that they are saying? Improved, which is saying that resource utilization, manageability, and service management, which I explained in previous slides. You say a resource utilization. I know what resource pool I have to put in for what pluggable databases, and I can start using that. So I'm actually in a control of the database utilization monitoring and resource utilization and resource optimization for that particular system. So these are all, I have taken this particular slide because I wanted to pass on a message very, very comprehensively that today we are still in the back foot, obviously, because the business is running on those databases. We are obviously on the back foot saying that, okay, it'll just come, whether we should look at, let's wait, my application is not supported, whether I'll be able to use all these features. So it's a question, I would rather answer this question as, let's start it with the biggest feature which they have given, and then start moving towards the other features. We could have added all that 200 plus features in this particular presentation, but I specifically wanted to cover this because I probably want to put that as to all of you, that one is, it's not now, is a still newer product which has been launched in 2013. They are in 12.1.3 as a patch right now. So they have Oracle has answered a lot of questions already onto bugs and patches. So there should be a stable version right now. We may not start with a very core applications where we have a risk, where we feel that it's a risk, but we can still look at those peripheral applications which can be moved onto this 12C, where we can take the advantage. And as they said, data center cost is obviously, if you have 10 servers and if you are moving into one server or two servers, you are obviously saving the data center cost.